Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging deep into the past to trace the ancient roots of one of the world's most iconic deities, Shiva. And we're going to ask a pretty wild question. What if his story began long before Hinduism in a totally different part of the world?
So let's just get right to the heart of it. The big question for today is this. Are the symbols we all associate with the Hindu god Shiva actually older than Hinduism itself? Could they have come from other ancient civilizations? Well, let's start digging for clues.
All right. Our first clue takes us way back to Mesopotamia, one of the cradles of civilization. It's here, among the ancient Sumerians and Babylonians, that we start to find these really interesting echoes, symbols that feel strangely familiar, even though they're from thousands of miles away and thousands of years later.
Okay, let's start with the Sumerian god Enki, because the parallels here are, well, they're pretty hard to ignore. We all know Shiva is connected to the holy Ganges River, while Enki was tied to the Euphrates and the primeval sea called Abzu. Both gods are shown with serpents. And maybe the biggest one of all, they both carry a trident. I mean, that's a whole lot of coincidence for two gods from completely separate pantheons, right?
And the pattern just keeps going when we look at the Babylonian god Marduk. Both Marduk and Shiva are linked to the powerful bull. Both are shown using a bow and arrow. And check this out. Marduk is often depicted with a horned helmet, which looks incredibly similar to the Pashupati seal's depiction of a proto-Shiva figure. The connections just keep stacking up.
But you know, it's not just visual stuff, it's in the language too. The Sanskrit word Shiva means auspicious or kind. Now, get this, in the ancient Persian Avestan language, the word Sinu has the exact same meaning. And there's a similar Persian word, Sib, that also means the same thing. It really feels like there could be a linguistic thread stretching all the way across ancient Asia.
Okay, so let's move on to our next clue and see how this whole thing builds. Because we're not just talking about random shared symbols for some minor gods here. Oh no, we are going right to the very top, to the supreme god of the whole Mesopotamian pantheon.
And this brings us to a really crucial idea. In both Hindu tradition and Mesopotamian beliefs, the ultimate supreme power is thought to be formless. It's a reality so vast that you just can't capture it in a simple image of a person.
So here, let's compare Shiva with Anu, the top god in Mesopotamia. The parallels in the ideas behind them are just so clear. Both are seen as formless, right? They're represented by abstract symbols, not statues that look like people. Both are seen as these ultimate progenitors with supreme authority. And, yep, both share a connection to the bull. This isn't about accessories anymore. We're talking about core concepts. Anu's power was just absolute. He was the ultimate source of authority. This quote here shows that for any other god to become a leader, they had to be given the power of Anu, something called the Anu II. This whole concept of a supreme, power-granting deity is a really powerful parallel.
So far, we've looked at shared symbols and deep concepts. But what about actual physical proof? Well, our investigation is now leading us to our third and, honestly, most compelling piece of evidence. Some might even call it a smoking gun. First things first, let's place this thing in time. The artifact was discovered in Uruk, and it dates to the Izin-Larsa period, right around 1900 BCE. Now, to put that in perspective for you, that is nearly 4,000 years ago. We are talking about some seriously ancient history here.
And here it is. This is the centerpiece of the whole investigation. The symbol that was used to represent Anu, that formless supreme god we were just talking about, it bears a truly uncanny resemblance to the Shiva Linga, the abstract representation of Shiva. Let's break this down piece by piece, because the details are just incredible. Look at what's carved onto the stone symbol of Anu. You've got a crescent moon, just like the one on Shiva's head. You've got a snake coiled at the base, reaching up, which is so much like how a snake is shown wrapped around the Shiva Linga. And the overall shape of the stone itself, it's just strikingly similar. This isn't just a concept, the evidence is right there to see.
So, after looking at all of this, the myths, the language, the archaeology, what can we possibly conclude? What is all of this telling us about the ancient world?
Okay, so let's bring all our clues together. We have shared symbols like the bull and the trident. We have shared core concepts like a formless supreme god. We have linguistic links between these really key terms. And to top it all off, we have direct, physical, visual evidence from that Uruk artifact. Now, the big takeaway here isn't necessarily that Shiva was Anu or Enki. Instead, what this evidence really suggests is something even bigger.
that certain core spiritual ideas and symbols weren't just stuck in one place. They seem to have been part of a belief system that reached across the ancient world, pointing to a past that was way more interconnected than we usually imagine, probably through things like trade and migration. And that leaves us with one final, really tantalizing thought. If these connections exist, it just makes you wonder, what other shared histories, what other forgotten links between the world's great ancient civilizations are still out there, just waiting for us to find them?